we came to the last part of this agriculture chapter. Now all the portions we have done, the different crops, their cropping patterns, different kinds of farming processes practiced in our country. Now we will go for the value portions, which is technological and institutional reforms. That means if we are reaching to the world, how to compete with the other countries for the sake of production. Which are the reformation process? Which are the revolutionary theories which we have to mention, which we have to follow up? The first is institutional reforms. Institutional reforms. Some significant institutional reforms which are included: collectivization, land consolidation, and the development of cooperative societies, and abolition of zamindari. These four words are very important. I am explaining what are the terms and what are the meaning of these four words. Due to the fact that inheritance right fragment land holdings into the extremely small units and that reduce the productivity, and land reform was a primary objective of our first 5-year plan. So there are some conceptual things which I need to explain. First word is written collectivization. What is collectivization? Basically there are two broad types of communal farms. The first one is agricultural cooperatives, in which member owners basically joint engaged in farming activities as a collective, and the state farms which are owned and directly run by the centralized government. So the process by which farmland is aggregated is called the collectivization. Our second term is land consolidation. What is land consolidation? It's a planned readjustment and rearrangement of fragmented land parcels and their ownership. It's usually applied to form larger and more rational land holdings, and land consolidation can be used to improve rural infrastructure and to implement developmental and environmental policies. That is called land consolidation. Come to the development of cooperative societies. Development of cooperative societies. What is it? A cooperative is it's an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. Coming to the next part, which is abolition of zamindari. Why I am explaining these things? Because these four are the reforms, institutional reforms through which we can reach in a larger part for the country. So that's why this four explanation you all have to understand in a proper way. Zamindari. Zamindari, the word you are very much accustomed because you know what is zamindari system in history. You have already learned, but still I am explaining that zamindaris were made the owners of the land. Basically they were the owners and they were given the right to collect the rents from the peasants or the farmers or the producers, whatever you can say. The rent or the total amount collected by the zamindar was divided into 11 parts, and where 10th of this share belonged to the East India Company, and only one part of this share was to be kept by the zamindar. So this abolition of the zamindar system also are revolutionary ideas. Okay. Now it's written extremely small units. The lands were divided into extremely small units. Why? One parents must have some 10 to 11 sons and daughters. Before 2005, daughters were not getting any property from the parents, but 11 or 10 sons if a parents have, they need to divide their lands into 10 parts. If a land was 2 acres, then the 10 division will be happening for 2 acres. So the land holdings or the plot of land will be definitely small. So that will be a major issue for the productivity, and which reduce the productive process. And land reform was a primary objective of our first 5-year plan. What was the planning? From 1947 to 2017, the Indian economy premised on the concept of the planning. And this was carried through the 5-year plan, which was monitored by the Planning Commission. Now I am writing over here, which was monitored by the Planning Commission. Okay, from the year of 1951 to 2014. And Niti Aayog, this is another planning, Niti Aayog, which was from 2015 to 2017. Okay, and with the Prime Minister as an ex officio chairman, the commission has already nominated deputy chairman who holds the rank of a cabinet minister. That much information is needed, not more than. Come to the technological reforms. See, land reform legislation was enacted. Let me open my highlight. Yes, land reform legislation was enacted, but implementation fell short in some areas. That means the implementation has gone in some of the parts of our country, not in all parts. In the year of 1960s and 1970s, the Indian government implemented agricultural reforms such as Green Revolution. Just now you have learned what is it. And White Revolution. White Revolution was the production of milk. White Revolution was the production of milk. I am writing over there. All of you can note down this portion. Production of milk. And Green Revolution was production of the crops, which you all know. Okay. Yes. So agricultural finance. Finance, you know, the capital investment. Whenever you are starting any business, any farming work, then you need a finance department. You need to work on it. You need a capital investors. So establishment of Gramin or regional rural banks, cooperative societies and banks to provide farmers with low interest rates. Now you have to know what is Gramin bank or rural banks and all. Gramin banks or regional rural banks, what does it mean? That means the banks which provide to the rural local farmers in a low interest loans. That is called the regional banks or the regional rural banks. Cooperative society is a type of organization or the association where the people can make it on their own, and banks, they know that they have to provide farmers with a low interest loans. Now, land development programs, what is it? The land development programs in India is implemented by the states through the Department of Agriculture and Land Use Management, DALUM. It's known as DALUM. DALUM. It's known as DALUM. The full form is Land Use Management, Department of Agriculture and Land Use Management. The states initiate and coordinate the land reforms programs but are supported by the central government in terms of advice, technical assistance and credit, because they also need the credit facilities, right? So, in the time of 1980s and 1990s, as a part of comprehensive land development programs, crop insurance against the drought, flood and cyclone and diseases is also included, right? If I am giving an example for this, that what is crop insurance? Basically, the main objective of the scheme was to protect farmers against the crop losses suffered on account of natural calamities, like it's already mentioned over there, the drought, flood, hailstorm, cyclone, pest and diseases. So the scheme was implemented by the Agricultural Insurance Company of India. Which company of India? I'm writing over there. Just a minute. Yes. Agriculture. All of you can note down this part. Agriculture, Insurance Company of India. AIC. In a short form, it's known as AIC. And also it's written that the credit facilities they are getting. One of the major credit facility is Kisan credit facilities. Yes, all of you mentioned this part. Kisan credit facilities. What is it? The Kisan credit facility scheme, it was introduced in the year of 1998. 98 for issue of Kisan credit cards to farmers on the basis of their holdings for uniform adoption by the bank, so that farmers may use them to readily purchase agricultural inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. and draw cash for their production needs. That is called Kisan credit card scheme for providing small farmers with easy and affordable loans. And personal accident insurance scheme is also there. It was also available to hold for the holders of Kisan credit card. Come to the next part, which is through radio and television channels. Farmers were introduced to special weather bulletins. Yes, when they are going for the agricultural activities, for the programming, they need to know the climatic consumption, the adequate facilities of the rainfall or other climatic components. They have to know for this. So, radio and television channels, they are also informing the full weather bulletins to the farmers. And the next part is written, additionally, the government established a minimum support price, MSP, minimum support price for a variety of agricultural products, including cereals, pulses and others, to check the exploitation of the farmers by the middleman. This word is very important. Who are the middlemen? Sometimes they are called the intermediaries. All of you can write down the different name of this, intermediaries. Okay. Middleman or the intermediaries. Who are those persons? Basically a person who acts as a link between people in order to try and bring about an agreement. They are called the mediator. Basically the negotiations took place through an intermediary. Okay. Those are called the intermediary person.